Good evening. It is now 6 p.m. I will call this joint special meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance to order. The purpose of this meeting is budget presentations. We have a full Board of Selectmen in attendance. From the Board of Finance, we have Rob Ward and Nikki Krasnowski online via Zoom, Stephen Herbert, Nate Lenke, and that's it. So we're missing two Board of Finance members currently. Brian Lynch is not here yet, and Dave Johnson. So that concludes roll call. At this time, I will open up the floor to citizen comments. These are the only citizen comments tonight. We'll start with the Zoom audience. Are there any citizen comments? Seeing none. Any in the live Cine community room? Any citizen comments? Seeing none, we will move on to budget presentations. Tonight, we begin with our assessors department and Paul Hopkins.
Good evening, everyone. I passed out here, and I don't have it for the Zoom members, but a copy of the grand list so everybody could see where we stand. As far as my budget, I tried to keep it as modest as possible. We didn't increase many things. In this case, we decreased training. I'm a senior instructor with our assessors organization now, so my training is now paid for through our state organization. So this really is just for continuing ed, for just some continuing ed credits for both Maggie and myself. So I decreased that a little bit. And that could go down a little bit more if need be. The one big increase you'll see is to our GIS maintenance, and that was because the GIS company has not raised our rate in about 4 years. And I think this was their way of catching up in one fell swoop. So it went from the $6,480. Their new amount is $8,000 per year for our service contract. Same thing, we added a little bit more money to our advertising budget for the reval. So we could cut that back a little bit. Printing and publications. Part of that was for the binding of our grand list, which has been moved into our IT budget as part of our quality data service contract. So that no longer will come out of the assessor's budget. And you'll notice we did increase supplies a little bit. So we were fortunate enough to come into a department 5 years ago that had an abundance of supplies, almost 5 years worth of supplies. Well, we finally started to run low. So we're seeing a lot more expenditures from supplied items of paper, pencils, pens, those types of things. And books and periodicals. We changed how our valuation system on motor vehicles were this year. So the cost behind the books that we used to get to price those is no longer how we will be doing it. We now pay for a contract with a company who imports the MSRPs into most of the normal vehicles. So their contract will be about $1,000 for the year. That basically makes up my budget for this year.
So Paul, that shift to that company, where is that here in the budget?
The shift for
Because you're not buying the NADA books anymore.
that would be in the printing and publication line item. So that $300 that we would spend to bind our grand lists has now been moved over to our IT or Marie's budget as part of the quality data contract.
I may have missed it.
Is it line 23 is what I'm thinking of.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too.
In my
Because he shows
18.
deductions on
Mine's-
both of those.
Mine's in line 18.
18.
18, yeah.
Yeah, printing
okay.
publication, but that's a decrease of 300.
Right, because that's been moved.
No, but what you were saying, loading up the MSRPs.
Oh, that's down.
So where is that in here? 'Cause
Okay, so
a
that's
shift.
23. So last year you can see we had budgeted 1261. we didn't expend that, we're not going to expend that full line item because of the new pricing guides. So what we did was just adjust that line item for the amount that we're projecting.
Okay, so that's where that shifted over.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Paul? Assessor's Department.
The increase on those services, the $8,000, is that a firm number or is that a?
That's a firm
Estimate
number.
or
That
something.
that is the number that they gave us for this year.
Thank
So
you.
that's what it will be.
And it's 4% for the salary increases. Is that what the,
Yes,
contract?
You'll
is?
see that on all the.
Oh,
budget
that's
sheets.
what I was wondering.
Any other questions? Online, Rob, Nikki?
No, nothing here. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm all set too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Very
Paul.
much.
Thank you, Paul. Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
Okay, next up,
That's for the next one.
Building Department. A building official, John Nolley.
Hey, John.
Hello,
Nice to see you.
everyone. Nice to see you too. Bear with me because I've tried to make some adjustments in this, not having done it for this department before. Try to make it a little more efficient and try to use some funding that's been allotted in the past to purchase a new file cabinet, which is one of our biggest things we need to do. We have professional affiliations on line 10, which was a total of $365. I've already paid my affiliations on my own, my schooling on my own, my hours, my travel, my classes. So I was hoping to use some of this, such as the professional affiliations, meetings, fees, and I believe Terry's personal phone was being paid for because he was using that instead of a town phone, which was a total of about $300. So I was hoping to use those funds and put it towards the fireproof file cabinet that we need to have, which is $3,900. We do not have digital backup for any of the documentation in the building department. Right now, as it is, I have a file cabinet that we're using that is not fireproof because we cannot fit anything else into our cabinets. That is the biggest ask that I would really need. Our contract, we have no contracted building official, should something happen and I need to miss time. I work well with Putnam and Woodstock. So should I have to miss any period of time that I couldn't work from home, we're looking to put about $1,600 into that account, that line item at $40 an hour to fill in when needed. I do fill in Woodstock, however, I'm also the assistant building official over there. So anytime their building official is out, I'm being reimbursed for my time. I don't know any official that would come in and work for free for the town, should something happen and I couldn't be into work. Signage, we need more to order more things, but we've been working on condemned buildings, buildings that need to be boarded up, that are unsafe, need to be secured around town. There are a number of buildings that we're starting to get some cooperation with by the owners. We had a building over on Parker Street that was supposed to be taken down a couple of years ago. We finally managed to have that taken down. The site's getting cleaned up. The old post office has been condemned. Myself and Jamie have condemned the building. He did board it up. So we need signage. We need to be able to put things into advertisement to notify people. Let's see. Vehicles, I put in truck
Excuse me,
expense. Yes.
on signage, I'm not following exactly where you are in terms of.
Well,
what line.
what the signage is, we have
Yeah,
to,
but what
What
category are you in?
oh, I'm sorry.
Probably line
Because I see
17.
nothing for
Line
advertising.
17?
Yes,
Okay.
17. Signage for the buildings, public notifications, it would be line 17.
Thank you.
And we went up from 300 to 500, it was a $200 increase.
And that's for signage?
Signage, yes, things that we need to post on buildings. It's mandated that it's posted.
Yep.
And we expect the big increases coming year.
Well, what the increase in what's
Well,
being brought into the building?
Well, it looks like you spend roughly $90 last year. Guessing $300 this year, but we need $500 next year.
We're looking at $500, yes. I have one sign left. in the
It's
building.
not a big amount, but I'm just kind of,
Yes,
it's a
no,
big increase.
absolutely, absolutely. Again, I'm looking at trying to make this a little bit more efficient because we are bringing in a considerable amount more of funds the way the department is running now.
Okay.
It's not just based on building permits, because if we were to bring in 100 permits at $35 or 100 permits, half at 35 and half at 500. I can't give that number. I can't tell this group, this is what we're planning on taking in. We are doing fair evaluations now, on project total values. I don't think they've ever really been looked at. We have people that have been building $1 million homes and paying permit fees for 200,000. Putting in a standby generators for $2,000 when it's a 10 to 14,000 job. So I'm reevaluating and they're actually paying the amounts that is a fair value. So there is gonna be a considerable difference, the way that we're closing permits out now, getting caught up on things that haven't been done, which I'm sure Paul would be able to better explain it. Money that should have been collected on, is it the grand list? That hasn't been. So
That's the income side, I guess.
yeah, I'm just trying to say, this is where there's going to be a much bigger increase in what we're actually bringing into that department to try to justify what we're doing here. If there was a better way on Permit Link to break apart the reinspection fees, which I believe last week were $350, that's starting to add up as well, because if a solar company fails an inspection, we have to go do a reinspection, they pay for that. It's supposed to be ready when we get there, so they pay $100 per reinspection. All other general permits pay a $50 reinspection fee. So if I have to go out 2 and 3 times to a certain job, it's not efficient for the building department of what I'm being paid. It should be paid by the general contractor,
Sure.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So I don't have numbers since the reinspection fees have actually been approved, which was it last year, Amy? It was beginning,
Yes.
middle of last year.
Yes.
I don't know where it goes. I don't know what's there, so there's nothing I can give you for details on that. Or what department.
On the
it is.
income side.
Yeah, I just don't have any
asking the
numbers to
expense
really-
side. I
Yeah.
understand
I
that.
really don't have anything to work with on that.
Well, I don't think we're gonna, I'm sorry, this is Amy St. Ange for people in the Zoom audience. I don't think we'll have a true feel for how much it has increased until you complete your first year and then we can
Correct.
do an analysis.
Correct.
Paul raised his hand.
To add a little bit, so John and I were talking today and he brought over to me a outbuilding that was converted to a full living area. And he was COing it today. So from my perspective, now that the building office has CO'd and delivered that to me, even though it happened after we've closed out our grand list, we can prorate that to the date of the CO and generate a secondary bill for this July. And in the case of the one that John gave me today, the bill that'll go out in July, depending on what the mill rate falls out to be, will probably be about a $1,500 addition to the taxable grand list.
Great, thank you for sharing that.
The other items that we had down on this, emergency safety expense, I know that had been turned down and dropped and reduced over the past few years. I was looking to put $5,000 total, so that we can actually have purchase materials when a building burns. On Thanksgiving last year, I was called out first thing in the morning. We had to board the building up. It was a total loss on the home. Unfortunately, everything was closed that day, and we were lucky enough to find a contractor that had some material. However, the material he used was 3 times the cost of what it should have been, because it was a specific building material that it was just very expensive. So being able to buy a lift of plywood or a lift of 2x4s and store them, and have access to that, should there be an issue with a fire or something that we're responsible to board up and then go back to the owner's insurance for reimbursement, is what I'm looking to do. I think there'd be substantial savings in that if we are supplying the material and the contractors are just supplying labor to do the border.
Is this the emergency safety expense
Yes.
line that I'm looking at?
Yes.
Can I ask, so currently, can I ask?
Mm.
Yeah, do I need to, do we currently don't have a backup plan? We don't have supplies or anything?
We
put
have
aside?
nothing.
And where are they kept if we had them?
I would talk with the highway department, see if we could get some room in a nice new salt barn somewhere that wouldn't be
Beautiful.
out of the way.
I saw it.
It's massive, and I'm sure it would be something the highway department could have access to if they would need it.
Okay,
The fire marshal.
so you came up with the 5,000, do you know what you're looking to purchase? Was
Oh,
this a-
absolutely.
So this is like a, not just a guess,
No, no.
it's a pretty concrete.
Yes,
I was gonna pawn off of that, if you had particular items,
Yes.
because I just, not to
Yes.
be naive about it, but like, what is
Oh,
it you're
absolutely.
looking to?
um,
Since you have the 5,000, is there particular products or anything?
yes, 2x4 10s, 2x4 8s, 2x4 10/8s, 2x4 10s. Plywood, actually OSB board, which is less expensive. Because this is the general stuff that they're gonna need to board a house up, block doors, windows, so on. I've seen them boarded up in many different ways. Some guys will put a whole sheet over a window. Some guys might actually cut it in half and use it for 2 windows. So it depends who we use. I am putting a list of contractors together with their insurance certificates and licensure. Emergency list that could be rotated as well if we can't get a hold of people. But the material itself, nails, screws, most of them will bring their own tools. However, the last one they did, they were borrowing electricity from the neighbor's house. They didn't have cordless tools. So trying to pick the right people and have the material available, I'm hoping to save the town some money. And have it, if there is an emergency we can't get to, as we have no access to materials.
John, on this line item here, would that also include if you had to bring in a payloader or whatever to knock the
Yes.
building down that's unsafe?
Yes, we had that done, was it February, March of last year, or was it later? That was the fire up on,
Aquatic?
Quad.
That was October.
That was October.
Wasn't it Columbus? No, wait,
September 11th.
September 11th. I knew,
And
so it
that-
wasn't a holiday, but it was a notable day.
So we had to bring an excavator in to help with it was a fatal fire, so we had to help remove debris with that fire, and that costs, was it like
$2,500.
$2,500?
So, yes, exactly, Ken, including that, having the materials available. It shouldn't hold us up, especially if it happens on a day when nothing is open, nothing is available.
This is Rob. I have a quick question. In the current year that we're at, where is that $2,500 in this budget? And where is the money for the contractor that boarded up the building with the 3 times the cost of materials? Where would we?
I believe they were paid, Rob, by the general fund. I have no idea how these were paid.
That was, no, that was, the one for Thanksgiving was the previous fiscal year. So you wouldn't have.
No, it would have been
I-
this current budget.
Excavator was.
The excavator got charged.
That's
to
what
the
I
fire
wondered, if
marshal's
some of it
budget.
comes out of your budget.
They do what they
Sorry, I
do.
got too many people talking at once. Sorry.
Sorry, Rob.
Okay.
The money recently for the excavator went to the fire marshal's budget because it was an order from the fire marshal at the time. The state fire marshal.
Just to follow up, I think your same idea, Rob. We're only spending, looks like $650 this year, this fiscal year. The most we spend in the last several years is a little over 2,000, but we need 5,000 next year.
Yes, to be safe. That, with the cost of an excavator or something to that effect.
And to me, it seems like we're spending 2.5 times our worst year,
Mhm.
because maybe we might need something next year. I don't know.
Well, I think John's also discussing having materials on hand that we don't currently have on hand, so they're available when we do need them.
Right, and it
So
wouldn't be need the
maybe-
following year,
Right,
where that could be dropped down and could be reduced.
Oh, it's a one-time sort of thing.
Yes,
If it's,
to build up,
if it doesn't get used.
right. Right, they
then
wouldn't be
still-
looking for it every year.
Still keeping a slightly higher amount in for cases like needing an
Exactly,
excavator,
yes.
et cetera.
Now, we do get reimbursed for, through the insurance companies and stuff.
Once, I believe, once everything is settled down with that, unfortunately, wasn't the homeowner,
That one, the homeowner was in the hospital.
That I did get confirmation, Slater did get the lien put on the home,
But typically we would get reimbursed, it sounds like.
yes,
yes.
So it's
Yes.
it's an investment to this budget, but it may not be
exactly, not needed the
the
following
following,
year.
and it's being proactive and
So it's kind of like a cushion, and then
Exactly,
you'll throw that into the next year. budget,
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Is there an opportunity to use the almost $1,400, kind of to Steve's point, use that to start building the supplies? And then maybe a more modest increase rather than going to the full 5?
Absolutely. I mean, I originally was hoping to try to put and build that fund up with reinspection fees, when that was first introduced. And build it to a certain number, with those reinspection fees. And then from that point, anything over the 5,000 or whatever number was allowed, to put that money into the general fund or wherever they're using it now.
Actually, Rob, I think it's only $500 this year, current year.
Yes, 500.
Say again, Steve?
I think the current year approved budget is only $500 unless I'm reading the wrong column.
No, you're right.
oh, you're
No,
right.
you're right.
That's all there's in it.
The
Thanks, Steve.
2,000 was for last year.
Thank you.
Line item 25, truck expense, I have down for 1,500. Basically what that is I have been using my personal vehicle for the last 2.5 years. Haven't charged the town anything for fuel or, vehicle maintenance, mileage. I have been using it for the last 3 months. Using town fuel for that, I am averaging anywhere from 250 to 300 miles a week, if not more, depending upon how many inspections I have or when I get called out. That is definitely something that I would like to see on there. It may and it may not be used, but they have that, should something happen to my vehicle and I have to get something for the time being to use. The car we have now it just wouldn't cut it. I do a lot of driving and I would need the vehicle pretty much every day for the full day that I'm here, the 8 to 10 hours. So that I'm looking for as more or less a backup if something happens to my vehicle. The code books, we have to update our code books every code cycle, and there are some books missing that we do need. However, I have an account with Upcodes, which is an online code site for every code book available. Now, that online I use when I go out, it's my personal account. I use that if I have to answer a question or bring something up or show something to a contractor or a homeowner. It gives me all of the fire, building, electrical, plumbing, mechanical code books. Instant access with diagrams, and it's something that I use considerable. If I'm looking to go, I believe it's a $300 difference from what I have. But it would also give the fire marshal full access to use that when he needs that. I think if you check that. That I think is fairly important to stay up to date. I think that's really about it.
John, on the books and periodicals,
Mhm.
that, the online, the platform that
Mhm.
you're discussing right now, that doesn't completely eliminate the need for books? or
No,
does it?
no, we still have to have the books. I've always had that because it's important when I'm in the field to be able to look everything and anything up. Whether it's a previous code cycle, depending upon when the building was built, and the new code cycle.
Okay,
Because a lot of times people want the comparison, or a contractor will have a question on that. But I have the town has a free, very limited access to it now, which I had signed it up for.
mhm.
There's no cost to that, but you're, again, very limited to what you can use on it.
Did this include the upgrade to one that
Yes.
costs and gives you the advantages and allows
Yes.
you to
Yes.
share with the fire marshal?
Yes,
Okay, What was that cost again?
We had a. See, that was line item 26. There was an additional, what was it, 1,500, I believe?
Yeah.
And I looked for another 300, which gives us that 1 year access to everything.
The 300 does?
The additional, yes.
Okay,
That's for the extra user.
Yes, well, the extra use, it's my code, it would be the town code under the building official, which the account is now. Building official, town of Thompson. And I gave Jamie my password so he can get in and he can use it anytime he needs it. And our offices are nice now because we're side by side.
Mhm.
So instead of me running over to borrow his fire code books that I don't have in my budget and him coming over to borrow all my books,
Mhm.
we both have instant access.
Did you?
I just had a question for Bill.
Mhm.
What is the current mileage rate with the government?
70 cents,
76, I thought,
70.
70?
sorry.
for this
Um,
year.
Can I
Just
ask,
started.
did you say that you're not getting paid mileage?
Yeah.
No, I donated that over the last few years. It's not a big deal. But what I'm looking at is should something happen to the vehicle, I actually purchased this vehicle just to do inspections 2 years ago. And I really didn't use it much. Terry did most of the driving, so the 1,500 is just a backup if something happens to the one I did purchase. Cause I'm not gonna put in for a town vehicle because there are too many other things in here that I need to do first.
I think to your comment, I appreciate you doing that, but
I
you
think
shouldn't be
you,
taking it out of your own pocket to.
Yeah,
do
that's
your
why I was
job.
asking what
so
the
Yeah.
mileage rate
I
was.
would, yeah, I would, oh, is that where you were going to?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
was thinking.
Didn't mean to jump here.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. Which way to
I
go.
would
and-
rather see you put
appreciate
in
it,
for
but-
mileage, even though it's a pain in the butt to track. But, and then you put it in a savings account somewhere, but it's a little easier to justify than saying 1,500 just in case. Mileage is something that you're, using your vehicle, your insurance, your oil changes, all that, and it's something that you should get paid for.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Oh, yeah, you
I-
got wear and tear on the vehicle.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah, I agree.
ultimately, my sentiment is that there should be a building official vehicle.
oh, definitely, but
So, in the future,
Yes. in the
not too
future.
distant future, heads up. It's really what's appropriate and proper.
Oh, I agree. I mean, but I live in
But
this
John
town.
has been, I mean, right down to the times that he just volunteered as an assistant building
I
official,
know.
taking some of the load off the shoulders of the building department. He's been very good to this town.
how do we submit reimbursement for mileage in this?
People fill out it's similar to an expense report when it comes in and some.
Is it a
folks
paper
do
form or
it's
is it
a
digital?
paper form, yeah.
You sign off on, I sign off, Amy signs off on.
Oh, that's what we're signing off on,
On
the
some of
mileage
them.
when it comes
Yeah.
through?
Sometimes,
Sometimes they all come through the same process.
I
The
didn't
actual
realize that was the mileage for, like,
bill,
but
if you will,
because nobody puts in one for every week
it's
or,
really only, right, currently it's fire marshal. Deputy fire marshal.
And Jamie, if I remember right, you do it twice a year.
I was gonna say, but you don't put in very often, cause I've looked at yours.
Well,
Yeah.
it kind of goes back to, it is somewhat of a pain to track, so people usually, like Jamie, maintains a spreadsheet.
Yes,
And then when it builds up a bit, he'll submit, rather than doing it every week or so.
How does that work, Bill, with the fuel being provided? I know 70 cents is a government related mileage, but if the fuel's coming from the town, is there a modified number or do you just, Do you-
There is not.
That's a
There
little
is
scary to
none.
me.
so the fuel comes from the town?
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah, he's
see.
getting it from there.
That, okay, I missed that piece. Okay,
No,
so
yeah, that's what I had
I
heard
missed
earlier.
that.
Okay.
I imagine we could figure out
Yeah, true.
what the fuel is what versus on that, because you still got insurance and everything else on the
Excise
vehicle.
tax.
That's right.
Just to back up. You added the contracted building official for 1,600,
Yes,
that's
if I get sick or something happens and I cannot work, would to be bring in someone.
no, I get it, that's what that's for.
Yeah, just a couple hours here and there to do inspections or, review plans.
As we know, that office never stops. So in the past,
Yeah.
things would get backlogged. There was a lot of customer dissatisfaction because inspections couldn't get done. So it was smart for John to decide to request that amount.
No, it's just that it's the first time on this. That's why I just want to make it clear so everybody
Yes.
understands what that is.
And that's 40 hours is what you got in here.
Yeah, I based it on 40 hours.
Did we go over office supplies, line
I
24?
was just gonna ask, I was like, am
Oh.
I having a moment or?
No, I thought I was having
The
a moment. I think
1200%.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's the fireproof file
Yeah.
cabinet.
that's the file cabinet.
That's the
Okay.
file cabinet?
Yes.
Okay.
Would that be office supplies?
It has in the past, it's been. Too small of an amount to think of it as capital.
Right.
Appreciation or anything.
I mean, unless there's another way to figure out how to keep our documents in the office or readily available for people that come in. We just have absolutely nowhere to put these things.
We, just a little additional color, we actually reached out to the school to see if they had one. They were able to provide a file cabinet, but unfortunately it wasn't fire rated.
Yeah, they
They
brought
didn't
me,
have any fire rated ones upstairs.
they brought me down two of the oldest files possibly imagined that I'm trying to give to the fire marshal.
There's no room.
Any other questions for the building official?
I think you're doing a great job,
Thank you.
and I don't mean to ask so many questions. That's just part of what I do during budget season.
Absolutely.
Because,
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate having
Good
you.
night.
I had another question.
Oh, Rob,
Sorry,
another
Rob.
question.
Yeah, I wanted, maybe it's more for Bill, but if we were to explore a fire official vehicle, how would that look? Would that be a leased vehicle? Would that be a purchase? And where I'm going there, Bill, is might we want to start putting something in this year so we can, if we're gonna do it over the next couple of years, we can build that up versus if we kick it down the road, it's gonna be one large expenditure or a loan or a lease. So how might we think about that? Because every other town has a building official vehicle and this is going to get busier and busier. I think that's inevitable that we're going to get there. How do we plan for it?
I think we could add a line to the capital and transfers page. It's probably the best way if we're going to save up a growth. We currently don't have that in there. We have had some good luck on the used market lately.
Yeah.
That's kind of hit or miss, but
That could always happen again.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, Bill, and I know we're not always looking to add to the budgets, right? But in this case, it's really a requirement for the job, and at least we could start thinking about it. What we did with the lights and what we did with the lockers, this idea of like we know it's going to come. I'd rather see us put a portion aside so that when it does come, it's less of a sting, right? All in 1 year. Just a thought.
What does the vehicle look like for the building official?
What would you say?
Truck. Pickup,
Chevy Spark?
Yeah,
yeah, something that could also be used for the town, should it need to be, highway department.
Yeah.
People here, a pickup truck would definitely be something that's the way to go. Doesn't have to be full size, but a pickup.
any other questions? All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda tonight, emergency management. We have Steve Benoit and John Zamaki here as well.
Does Dottie need to know that I'm still here?
How you doing?
Dot,
And
just,
Nikki made it into the live audience. She knew you were here.
yeah, no, I know, but if she looks and sees that I'm not online anymore, I just didn't want her to think I vanished. Skipped out, I'm done. I don't need to.
No vanishing, Nikki. No vanishing, please.
Our budget's gonna stay the same as it was last year, 3,500. Because we're working on that $25,000 grant we've got, and we're getting a lot of things we need, needed for a long time, so we're gonna keep the budget as it is this year. At 3,500. Next year, it's probably gonna have to go up because of maintenance on the Tahoe. DPW take care of the maintenance, now we gotta bring it to a dealer. So we're gonna have to put something in the maintenance budget for that.
Did you put anything in for this?
No,
year?
because I didn't know about that till after I already submitted this.
Oh, okay. Well, I also
What-
said it was
what happened?
temporary. I
Yeah.
only said it was temporary. We were without a mechanic. So,
It's been temporary for a while, yeah.
but the burden of one department caring for another department's
Yeah.
vehicle.
Oh, I know.
No matter what, you should have something in your budget.
Yeah,
So. Because otherwise it's getting pulled out of Public Works Department.
right.
So it might not be bad to.
Put in for a
something in.
maintenance budget next year.
What,
And
what is the maintenance, like oil changes and?
oil changes,
Tires.
tires,
Tires, yeah,
I mean, I would say, try to calculate something
Yeah,
and
we're
let's
gonna.
get it in, even though you submitted it, it can be changed,
okay,
so.
okay, we'll
Okay, so
calculate something
nothing's
to
gonna-
put in there, cause I know we need tires. We talked about that the other day, see if we can get another, the other
Right.
fund.
Tires, you're looking at around 1,000.
Oh, yeah, we got a quote already.
Mhm.
But there's, you know, like I said, we're doing really good with the grant.
Mhm.
That's paying for a lot of stuff that we've needed for a while. And upgrading a lot of stuff we need, so.
See, what kind of stuff is that? What are,
We got all new radios. Furniture, because since we moved from here upstairs, because the furniture we had here was attached to the wall.
you couldn't move that?
No,
It's just like slide.
no, we couldn't just
Take it
slide it
off.
upstairs. Every time we moved it fell apart, yeah. So we made a lot of upgrades. We're getting, we've got monitors. For the conference room on the other side. So we can run the EOC out of there. We can show whoever's there, the web EOC, Millsville Hub. And
A lot of these are one-time things, though.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not a recurring
No,
cost. You're
no,
taking care of it.
no.
Okay, thank
we
you.
wouldn't have been able to get this without the grant.
Gotcha.
So you're gonna add some numbers to this budget?
Yeah, we're gonna add some numbers to this for the maintenance budget. Go from there. Okay? Any questions?
Questions for Steve?
Yeah, I have a question for Bill.
Yep.
Bill, can you help with column Z? If I look at T and U, they're identical. They're identical at 3,500 and the subtotal 2,320, but it's showing this 1,350. What, and then it's showing 1,380. Is there a calculation error there?
I'll check the formula.
Thanks. I mean, I think those should be 0, right? Because it's the
Yeah,
same.
sure.
Because there's no change.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Good
Right.
point.
Well, we could do it offline, Bill, so we don't hold everybody up. I just
And
have.
this is an increase of about 12% over the current year's spend.
Any other questions? For Steve? Right, thank you both.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for all the work you do.
and yeah, thank you very much. You guys do a great job.
And you notice there's no increase on salary.
I noticed that.
Well, it looked like it doubled it for me. I thought it was double.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next on the agenda, item D and E, inlands, wetlands and conservation. We'll go back to back, and that is Margaret Washburn. I'm here. Hello. Have a seat.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm a new face to you, I think. My first time presenting budgets. Which one would you like to do first?
Inlands, wetlands would be next, would be first, based on the agenda.
One of the members, David Langer, sat down with me and helped prepare this budget. He unfortunately is unable to be here tonight. But I was very grateful to him for his help because he's very knowledgeable about such things. The first line items are the 4% increase for salaries. Line item 7 staying the same, professional affiliations. Travel, David recommended increasing it slightly and this is when I get reimbursed for using my own vehicle when the town vehicle is unavailable, and this year it happened that I had to do inspections the week of the election when the town vehicle wasn't available, so he just thought it'd be better to increase it by 25%. That was a David Langer suggestion. Next line item is number 9, meetings and fees. This is going up because of Permit Link. Permit Link is a goal to get our wetlands applications onto there. In the last 3 years, I took an average that we issued 36 permits per year at $12 a permit, and so this is a fee that we actually, it's sort of a pass-through cost that we collect $12 from the applicant, and we also pay $12 to Permit Link. So Bill Steglitz said he's gonna balance that on the income side.
There, the offsetting revenue has been added to the revenue pages.
Our goal is to get up and running on Permit Link by July, because we won't have the money until then, and that leads me to the next line item, or an upcoming line item. For professional services. Because there's a one-time only $750 fee to get my form formatted to Permit Link. And so Bill suggested putting that in this line for professional services.
And that's for the.
To get our wetlands application made into the format that Permit Link can use on their system.
Like a
Just-
requirement. That's how they do it now.
Right, it's just the one base form, and so when the previous wetlands agent left, she made it so that there are several supplemental forms. Those are just gonna remain in-house, and when someone wants to apply, I will make sure that they can take that fee and fill it out, and we'll upload it. I talked to the gentleman who does my job in the town of Andover, who does a similar, uses Permit Link in a similar way, and so it seems that it's too expensive to have all the forms that were approved on July 1st when the regulations were changed. So we're just gonna do the base fee, and the rest of them, I'll have the folks fill them out, and either they or I will upload them, and they'll be in there as a permanent record, and then I'll continue to issue my permits the way I have with paper and upload those. Because I'm required by law to mail them out certified, so. We're finding a way to make it work. Advertising, there's a 25% increase at the advice of David Langer, because we're expecting to hold public hearing to revise, have some slight revisions to the regulations again. And that's gonna generate the advertising fees for a public hearing. There's no change to line items 15 and 16, 16 and 16, or. I think that wraps that up. Are there any questions?
Hey, 17 is the cell phone.
Right, when I got hired, Bill put the cell phone into the office supplies. And David Langer suggested pulling it out of there because it kept making it look like the office supplies were going up. So again, this is a David Langer recommendation to make the cell phone a new line item. Rather than having it lumped in with office supplies. When we're doing the same thing as being proposed with the next budget, because the cell phone is split between the two commissions.
If I may, the permit link is a one-time only, but it's attached to the town, not a person.
The 750?
Yeah, so if it was to be a new person that came into the position, it wouldn't need to be redone. It would be associated with the town,
It's
like,
it's the format of form. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with an individual.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're spending $254 roughly, I assume this year for the cell phone, but it's in office supplies, is that?
Right.
Bill?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a net.
Any other questions for Margaret on Inland's Wetlands Commission?
No,
Thank you.
Rob, you got?
Yeah, not a question for Margaret, but Bill, can we add? Sorry, I didn't think of this earlier, but on the right-hand column, I think we should add some of these one-time expenses as a comment. Because I understand the need and they're too small to go into a capital item, but when we come around next year, we should expect that to go away. So if I just see professional fees, for example, and it now is at 1,000 next year, you know, might think that 1,000's flat, right? When it should be kicked back down to 750.
If you look on the screen now, Rob,
Whoa, that's quick.
we,
normally those are.
we have those notes and some of these notes are from the finance department. A lot of them are from the folks who did the budgets.
Okay.
Sort of memorialize these from year to year, because it becomes very helpful. It helps folks remember what the heck did I put in that line last year? Because most people just deal with this once a year. So you can see there, Margaret's comments about permit link. I just had them hidden because the screen gets awfully busy sometimes. So they're unhidden there.
Okay. No, thanks for anticipating that, Bill. And it sounds like it's a good tool for everybody. So that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Questions for Margaret on Inland's Wetlands?
Oh, good.
Hey, Bill.
Thank
Gave
you.
it printed last year. Just.
All right, Margaret, would you like to move on to conservation?
Yes, the conservation budget begins with, again, 4% salary increases. The next
Stays.
line item stays flat, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, by the way, I sat down with our treasurer, Carol Smith, to prepare this. Wyndham County Soil and Water is actually the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District now. I think there was no money in there all this time, and I think this 100% is some kind of artifact bill.
Yeah, so when you divide by 0 in Excel, you have to decide if you want the formula to show 100% or 0%. Steve beat you through this last year. We went with 100. Sometimes 100 works, sometimes 0 works. So you don't worry about the 100.
Okay,
It's just a convention in Excel.
again, the cell phone is, office supplies, I'm sorry, stay the same. The cell phone, again, is coming out of the office supplies, so that's a new line item. And that wraps that up. If anyone has any questions.
One thing that I just want to point out, and the number is relatively small, but we're actually going from spending in looking under professional tech services. We're going from 335 current year to 535, which is a substantial increase. So it's not as if we're staying the same, we're budgeting the same, but we're spending, assuming the projection's accurate, we're expecting to spend a lot more. And again, it's relatively small numbers here, but again, that's my looking at the current year projection as opposed to budget.
This professional and technical services, mine shows a 0% change.
Yeah, but the actual spending for the current year is $335 expected in total for those 4 or 5 accounts. $335. See that?
Meg, Steve is talking about actual versus our budget, whereas you're talking about this year's budget
Right.
versus next year's budget.
Exactly.
So is there an anticipation to spend another 200 in that? Or it's not quite?
It's small, it's not a big number, but nevertheless, it really is
Is
a
it-
big increase over what we're expecting to spend this year. Yeah, as in terms of percent and so forth. Again, it's $200, but that adds up.
Any other questions? For Margaret? Rob?
Nope, none here. Thank you, Amy. No questions. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Nice to meet you, Margaret.
Same here.
Easy peasy.
All right, we will move on. Planning and Zoning Commission. We have both Cindy Dunn, our zoning enforcement officer, and Ryan Neuer, the secretary/treasurer of Planning and Zoning.
Correct. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by giving the total number, and then I'll work backwards. So the proposed budget for fiscal year 26 is $53,032. It's going to be an increase of $4,772. Percentage terms, it's up 9.89% year over year. That's obviously versus 25, projecting forward. Key changes. So there's two things that I want to highlight first. The first one is a proposed reduction in the recording secretary's salary, which is basically a year over year change versus 25. So the amount for 25 has already been included in there. So that's going to be a number that is going to be unchanged. And then for the following year, I'm proposing a year over year change of down 12.87%, which is flat with current. Why is that? The reason is because there's a lot less work because I have taken over doing the minutes in their entirety. If you've noticed an improvement in the minutes in P and Z, that's the reason. Zoning officer is getting a 4% raise as standard. That's $37,518. Hours are going from 19 and a half to 25 hours per week.
No, 25.
Excuse me,
25.
25 hours per week. Yep, 25 hours per week. So that is an increase, and that's
That
more.
was instituted last year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a change. The only change is the 4%.
It's the standard 4% that's across the board on those. So in terms of salaries, what that nets out to, there's only two, so it nets out to $41,722, which is only up 2.01% year over year when you put those two together. Yeah, and that's pretty straightforward. The biggest change that I want to introduce tonight is a new system. And the system is something that Mr. Lanky actually proposed to me and presented. And we had a chance to test it out in the library. I don't know if any of you guys had the pleasure of experiencing some of the larger library meetings. We had some pretty eventful happenings with this year in planning and zoning. And the meeting in particular, there was about two of them where we had a lot of pauses in the recordings. We've had a lot of issues generally with recordings and going back and listening to that. And as the person that gets the pleasure of listening to them over and over and trying to decipher that with my notes, I am proposing that we do not only for planning and zoning, but for really all the major boards that are elected, that we have better technology that is more suitable for what we're actually trying to accomplish. So that could be used at the library. It could even be used here if you guys feel like you're experiencing the same things. I do have some visuals if you wanted to look at it, but I did budget 4,000 just because I always tend to go a little bit over. But there's two systems in there: the Owl 4, which is the upgraded, they call it the higher end version. It's a 360. So it's going to capture all the audio. And when we tested it out at the library, it was amazing. The camera actually follows in the room and you can see who's speaking. So for $2,000, we could have that system. And then for the other unit, since the library is a bigger rooms, it's 1,049. So you're looking at, a little over 3,000. And then I had some notes here about what actually comes in the box. If anybody really is interested in that, I would suggest that you go to owllabs.com and take a look at that. And that's where that information will all be found. But you have your pretty standard stuff, the power adapter, USB, and table cards and things that you would need to set this up. So,
And we're putting this under telephone?
So what I did is I replaced the telephone charge because it was
just the account that was available.
Yeah, that was the line that was available on there. I didn't create a new line. So
Gotcha. Thank you.
I thought that the $50 telephone charge was kind of outdated personally. I think this is more relevant. So I put that in there. And that's the reason why it shows the the increase year over year, because it is a new line item, if you will. And it's under the library meeting technology line, which is, in this case, is number 11 on the sheet there. So that is that, and that is really the main reason for the the increase, besides the salaries. Didn't really adjust anything else. Happy to go through the other items just quickly to give some rundowns. Professional affiliations, which is basically the annual meeting that's attended. Travel I took down to 0 because we don't necessarily need a travel budget, I don't think, for P and Z, especially not only at $50. It's kind of irrelevant. Meetings and fees, there's an offsite at CLCC that we attended last year. I think it's probably been done for many years, but most of us went last year and found it very useful. So there's a few of us that are planning on attending again this year. It's on the other side of the state. Professional services is another line item that's $29.50. That's also flat year over year versus 25 and probably versus the prior year as well. Engineering and legal is really what that's comprised of, and that's an estimate of those expenses. Advertising is the shopper's guide because the P&Z meetings and official happenings on the commission have to be posted for legal notice. I think everybody knows that, but just so you're aware of what the advertising is. And then the printing and publication, we get packets every month, so there's printing expenses, and everybody knows ink is expensive and whatnot, so have a nice printer in there. Other than that, it's just office supplies is flat year over year, books and periodicals, and took P&Z permit refund category down to 0 too, just trying to slash any expenses that we could. So with that presentation, if anybody wants to see the pictures or has any questions, be happy to go over.
Tell me about the secretary.
Yeah, that's my question.
That was my question.
So he's not Kevin, who was hired, is no longer doing minutes?
Yeah, so let's
Authorization to
let's talk
reduce
about
salary,
that.
where did
Yeah,
that
let's
come
talk
from?
about that. So in October, I took over doing the minutes of the meeting on the P&Z commission. And if you haven't read them, you can go back and take a look at the minutes.
So-
and see them.
Kevin sits in a meeting and doesn't type anything or do anything?
No, he does. He actually, he's tasked to present a draft version of just the actionable items to give a basic summary. And, my understanding is that there has to be a recording secretary in the room. I think that's a procedural thing. So what he does is he presents a very basic draft. He's had some instances where he's been out a lot, so we have our system that we've put into place.
Who's we?
Who's we?
Yes.
Who's
Who's
we?
we?
Well,
Is it the entire commission?
so the entire
Cindy?
commission doesn't work on the minutes. So I get the draft from Kevin, which I can use or not. And what I do is I go through the
You
recording.
might not use the draft that the recording secretary.
That we pay the recording secretary to put
Right?
together?
Yeah, I review
That
it,
was
but I'm
hired by
saying
the
it's
town?
it's
you
it's
might
not
not use
it's
it.
not super.
I'm like totally confused.
Yeah,
No, but you've
It's
got the
not-
recording.
it's not very detailed, so I take it to
Let's-
a more
okay,
expanded level.
Let's,
if you
I just want to make sure that we're clear on minutes.
Yeah,
By FOIA standards, and any standard
Mm.
need only include, because when you start inserting opinions and thoughts,
Yeah.
that's when the minutes get muddy. The only thing that should be in minutes is motions, votes, and
Place,
those type
time,
of action,
yeah,
action
date.
items.
Location.
It
So
doesn't
let
have
me-
to be a book.
So
So
what-
that's why we
what-
hire a recording secretary,
Yeah.
is because they understand that job of what is required and what they're supposed to be putting in the minutes. It is not a,
So if you take a look at the minutes, it's pretty clear that they've improved since I've been doing them. In the bylaws of the Planning and Zoning Commission, it actually states that the secretary is responsible for doing the minutes.
the recording secretary.
No, the secretary, not the recording secretary. The recording secretary,
I'm concerned about that.
well, you'd have to look at the bylaws, so if you're concerned about it.
No, that we've hired somebody to do this job and they're now
And he
getting
does
a
his job,
salary reduction because you've taken it on.
and I'm not giving him a salary reduction, I'm not giving him a raise. So if you listened, it's year over year. But 2024 is this year that just passed, and his pay is flat
year over
Where
year.
is your authorization to give him or to give him a raise or not give him a raise?
This is a proposed budget for 2026.
Okay.
So nothing is final. I'm not an authority on who gets budget. That's why I'm here presenting to you. So let's talk about the minutes though for a second, because you clearly want to.
I think.
The
it's- I
reason,
think
the
it's a
reason,
good
the
thing
reason
to
that the
ask.
minutes are being done is there were things that were left out. There were a lot of commissioners that approached me and said that their views weren't being expressed. There were things that they
Because
felt were
there's a
being left out.
recording, Ryan, minutes are not there to capture every single verbatim word that somebody says.
Right.
We've gone through this before. We have already ventured across this bridge
Who ventured?
in the past. We've discussed it with FOIA. We had FOIA come in. I know exactly where you're going with this, and it is just a budget meeting, so we can have a conversation at a later date. So-
Again, so the minutes are just to capture the people who spoke. I'm not writing a book.
But it's not verbatim.
Correct me if I'm wrong, aren't we asking about the reduction of the secretary's salary rather than?
Yeah, it is a
minutes?
reduction, right? I'm not crazy. It was
I
was
just-
4,825.
I just don't want it to tangent into a different direction.
We're not
what-
looking to increase that line item by 4%, and
Okay.
now we're projecting it to be 4,204, so it is a reduction.
So Susan, so it's a reduction versus 25 because 25 has already been approved. So we're talking about 26. So it's flat versus 24 and up, but we don't have to use that number. If you are telling me that you want to just give the standard raise, you can, but I was giving a proposal. I'm not the authority. I'm not on the Board of Finance. You guys are. So I'm not a dictator. I'm not telling you this is how it is. I'm telling you what my opinion is of the work. And I spend a lot of time going through the recording and trying to make sure that everything is captured accurately and just trying to do a good job. And I don't think that's out of line personally.
Well, one thing we want to make sure we comply with whatever the laws are required.
Which is literally
stuff.
what
I
I
want to
was-
make sure we do that.
Honestly, it was brought up to me because I had to look through the bylaws and I realized that I wasn't really doing the full extent of my job. Because it says in the bylaws that the secretary is supposed to do the minutes. And that was a surprise to me as well. Honestly, this is my first year being.
Well, I'm not
elected
arguing with them,
secretary.
just, make sure that we do
Yeah.
comply with the laws.
So then we
Number
had
one
a
thing we have to
vote,
do.
the P and Z commission had a vote in December and we voted that I would do this. I'm not
Okay.
just taking it upon myself and
That's
saying.
what I had asked.
Well,
I
that's,
am-
that's what,
I'm
that's
sorry,
how it
man,
was
I didn't-
kind
I
of
didn't
presented,
answer-
yeah.
I didn't actually answer Amy's question and I think I created that confusion, so
Right.
I
Rob, I'm
apologize.
sorry, but
Amy,
yes,
might I interject? I think there's a topic here that's important. My next comment isn't suggest that it's not important. It needs to get resolved. I don't think it's a budget workshop
Correct.
discussion in terms of the fix. We'll deal with the numbers, but rather than circulating on it, I'd suggest that we or the Board of Selectmen, you guys take it offline to fix it, and then we'll circle back on what that means in terms of dollars and cents. Is that okay?
yep, absolutely.
Thanks.
The will of the Board of Finance that I amend that number in the spreadsheet, which I could easily do, because it was just a proposal.
We'll discuss it. The Board of Selectmen starts
Yep.
and discuss each department. And then it passes on to the Board of Finance, so.
Sure. Does anyone have any thoughts on the owl? Because really, the purpose was I really wanted to talk about this because
Mhm.
it was supposed to be for Board of Finance, Board of Ed, everyone could share it, there could be better technology, like, is anyone opposed to that? I guess I have
Sounds like a good
visuals of
idea
it, the
to me.
website.
What are you currently using?
We currently use the system and it's brought over to the library. And as you know, sometimes P and Z meetings are very well attended and there, we had a cannabis, right? That was a packed house, so, difficult to hear. And there was a lot of problems with the recording and I was trying to piece together notes and it took me, 8 hours to write stuff. Kevin, his father passed away. It was very unfortunate. He was sick sometimes, like we have checks and balances. We try to help each other out, back each other up. So it's a process and it's hard to do.
So with this system, we have our limitations with this one. As we know, for distances when people do speak, sometimes Dottie can't
Right.
hear,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
I think the bigger question, you're right. You don't hear because there are people that don't project their voice.
Correct.
the question is, will the owl, and I would love to run this by IT, so I would have loved to have seen this ahead of time, and I know Nikki had pointed it out to us once, that this technology was available.
Mhm. Oh, good.
It's just a
Nice.
matter of
I would have brought it with me.
will it
Right.
pick up the quiet voices? Because that's the issue we face. The issue isn't that this mic doesn't work efficiently.
Yeah.
It's that if you have someone that talks like this, it's not gonna
Please,
get.
yeah,
picked
I
up.
would love.
It
yeah.
has it actually has technology inside of it to actually do that. To pull in a distant voice it is softer, but it will, if there's no like standard stuff in front of it, it will pick it up. It also, because the reason they call it an owl is it actually, the two eyes just visually look like an owl. They will move in the direction of the person speaking. So even as someone on Zoom or in anything else, you will see where it's picking up. So if Suzanne and I are sort of kibitzing over here, but Nate's the one that's trying to speak, you, as running the meeting, can actually point out, like, please stop, it's not picking up, Nate, without you having to be the one, because it'll visually cue you on that. So it does
Is it
do
the
a lot.
As well.
It's a 360, so the camera will
Yeah.
rotate around the room based on where the people are speaking and where the noise is coming from. And the reason you need two is because in a bigger.
And if this were to state in the budget, it would be pulled from planning and zoning's budget and put into the IT budget. Or the.
Because this would, my question was, is this specific only for planning and zoning to use, or would this be something we would use at our meetings as well?
I would say.
And that's what I was saying. It would be used for all boards. That was
Yeah.
my point, was that it could be used for
Right.
Board of Finance.
I
Board of
believe they
Selectmen.
also drown out back noise, right? So
That's
like
right.
if she's talking and I'm like shh on the side, it washes me out, so everything
Yeah.
clearly gets in.
We did a test in the library, John and I, just to test it out, and it worked great. I was shocked because I've seen, really expensive systems at banks, investment banks and whatnot, and they pay all this money for technology, and I looked at the cost of this and I said, wow, this is amazing for what you get for that price.
Right.
And that was the reason for presenting it, but it could also be part of a shared service if you guys wanted to do all four boards, and that could be something. So my intention tonight wasn't to come in here and talk about the salaries and stuff. These numbers are all pretty small, and if we want to adjust them, you guys can make that decision. That, again, that's not my decision. I am here to present this, and this is really the purpose of me.
What's the cutoff on the capital versus operating expense? $5
Right
grand,
now.
okay.
So I put 4 in there as a placeholder, and then got the actual number.
Gotcha, thank you.
And you said it's just slightly under 4 for both.
It is, this is, dollar for dollar here, it's 2,000 for the 4 and 1,049 for the 3. And then I always build in a couple extra costs, because you're probably gonna need somebody to get set up, maybe get us, get it going for the first time, something like that. So I built in a little extra cost, but it'll probably come in below, is my expectation.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
But back to the recording secretary.
Yeah.
In the past, the chairman has come in and requested more and more hours, more for that line item. That's why that's one of the highest paid recording secretaries, I believe. Correct?
They have the biggest work.
Because they have the biggest workload.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of.
what is it that goes into their workload?
You're asking me what the
Or would-
recording secretary does?
Yes.
I-
Would Cindy be about, yeah.
Yeah, go
Cindy
ahead.
wants to, yeah.
So, the secretary comes in sends me the agenda on Tuesday. I work the new items into the agenda. He sends it to the chairman, to the planner, to myself, and to Ryan for any additions. And then he comes in Wednesday afternoon, anywhere starting around 2:30. And I have already prepared what goes in the packets for the applications. So that's sitting on the desk on top of the folder, what goes in the packet. He puts in all the correspondence on the agenda, the budget, any new business, old business, I tell him what that is, and then he puts that into the agenda, prints up the agenda. I'm here, I approve it. And then he puts that packet together. He does one printing of it. And again, I go through it and make sure everything is in it that's supposed to be in it. Then he puts the packets together, the hard copies, because that's what the commission members still want, is the hard copies. So he puts that together and there's 10 commission members and 3 alternates, so that's 13 packets. They do not get mailed anymore because it's just got so costly, and so the commission members come in and pick it up between Wednesday, Thursday morning and Monday. And when up until October, he was doing the minutes, he would do the minutes, they'd send them to Chair and I, we would review them, we would put in any changes, any corrections, additions, any takeaways. And then at the meeting, he would take them, do the minutes, and again, until October, he would write them up and send them to us. He does all the legal notices, writes up for all the legal notices, which is extremely important, and sends that over to the shopper's guide. Sends it to me first for approval and then sends it to the shopper's guide. So that's his, and the part of the planning and zoning, as Amy has said, it is one of the largest, hardest jobs. As far as being secretary, because it's so many items that we're going through every, just about, I would say 8 meetings out of the year that are very heavy, have been very heavy. We did 44 applications last year. And some of them were home ops, which I take care of, but a lot of paperwork with those 40 subdivisions. You got special permits. You got.
But what is the recording secretary doing with those applications, other than adding them to the agenda?
He's really
And
not doing
printing them
anything
out.
with the
Nothing.
application. No, just putting them on and put
On the agenda and then printing
Yeah,
out
that-
whatever.
is that stack I give him on top of each folder. He copies that. And for the packet.
So,
Sometimes there's a lot of paperwork in that packet.
so the amount of work that he's doing really hasn't changed.
No, not really, no.
So,
From any other, the previous, yeah.
right, so the time is still there, everything else, so
Yes,
if you take the 48.25 and add the 4% to it, that should be an increase in as well as anybody else.
Yes,
Yes,
not a
that's what I'm saying.
decrease, yes.
I mean, what their bylaws and stuff say that they may do in addition does not reduce what he is currently doing.
Right,
So-
agreed.
And that 4% of the 48.25
Yes.
should be increased accordingly.
So we'll just put it back in. It's not a big deal to me. I'm
So
certainly
whatever
not
that
gonna
number
argue
is.
about that. You know, like I said, there was a lot of work on him for, in my opinion, a lower amount of money, so. Since I've taken it over, everything's improved, everyone seems happier, so everything's getting done and more efficient.
But he's still doing the first draft.
He does the first
Okay.
draft, so.
Excuse
And that
me,
was
how
what
many
was,
meetings a year
that
is
was
that?
voted on.
How many meetings a year does he attend?
12.
It's 12.
Yeah,
And
So it's
Yeah.
no more meetings than,
yeah,
Yeah.
I
he
think
does
it's
not
one
attend
time.
the subcommittees anymore, but.
right.
remember why John.
Yeah, the subcommittees
advocated
are
for
still, the minutes are still done by our planning and development
Ryan, you said this summer there was a vote, just kidding,
December
December, there was a vote for
on the commission to
follow the bylaws.
to follow the bylaws, which you know, whether or not that, it was more of a procedural thing, right?
Right.
We discovered the problem, we looked at the bylaws, we said, we're trying to make things better all the time. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work to do the planning and zoning minutes. I can attest to that.
So you got that number, Bill?
Yeah, are we
We're not making any changes right
typically?
now.
we
No, I'm
don't,
just asking if he
But
knows
I've
it.
got it, yep, and I made a note that we'll take it up, I guess,
then
in the
when we-
first board
yeah.
of selectmen
Yeah, what
only
would
meeting.
that number
Yeah,
be?
Okay.
That
Oh,
you got proposed right now?
I can just put.
Whoops.
Any other questions for Ryan while Bill's getting a number for Ken?
Do you guys want copies of the photos of this technology or anything, or owllabs.com?
Owllabs.com.
Yeah, that's the
5,000.
that's the site. You find as much value as.
Thanks, Bill.
It's a good idea.
Rob, any questions?
What
You're
did you say
good?
that was?
I just have a lighthearted comment, just in
Right.
case, because I felt some eyes on
Thank you
me.
so
Mr. Linky is my father. I just, for
much.
the record.
Oh, is it your idea?
No,
You on it?
Oh, no. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not
He
Mr.
said, I'll give you
Leaky.
the credit.
I apologize, I should have said, John P. Lanky, yes, that's right.
Hey, no,
Very important distinction.
news to me today.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just not one entity, it's for the town.
For the town.
I agree.
You helped explain that, just.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'll leave that here.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cindy, next item on the agenda, ZBA.
This will be your shortest one.
Yes, it probably will.
Uh, Mike Meany is currently the Secretary of the Zoning Board of Appeals. He and I discussed the budget, took us 5 minutes. The only increase is some have the wrong budget in front of me, I'm sorry. The only increase is the salary for the reporting secretary. Everything else stays the same. Yeah, it's a pretty easy budget.
Advertising is like to.
The
pull on
legal
what Steve-
notices.
The legal notices,
Right.
but they're trending about half of what's budgeted. So
Yes.
Just a thought.
Yes,
everybody.
it depends on how many variances we have, and as has been stated in the past, because of the change in the regulations, people feel that less people are going to for variances, so.
Agreed.
So is that, the budget number is 1,300, whereas it looks like it was 784 is what the actual is.
Well,
right?
we're not finished with the
Right.
year yet.
So are you
Yeah, no,
going
but that's the
to,
projection for the whole year.
784.
Oh.
yeah, the projection for the whole year, I'm sorry.
It's 1,300, yeah.
676.
No, it's 784.
784.
784.
Oh, wait a minute,
That's the projection.
no,
Projections in.
Yeah, and that's in line with the prior years. The year
Yeah.
before was
Yeah.
676, the year before
So
was
that's what I'm wondering is
706.
if,
Looks like it's a cut.
Let's
Just
make it-
make a note
This
because that might
need
be
to,
something.
please make it.
Yeah.
look
Well,
at that line.
I think I requested to stay in there in the event that we do get an overwhelming amount of applications, and you have to do those legal
Yeah.
notices.
Cindy, if I might, just for the audience, if
Yeah, absolutely.
the projection column, obviously imperfect as we're only halfway through the year, but how that was developed initially by the finance group, we took a look at what we had spent to date when we put the spreadsheet together. We looked at any encumbrances that we had in place, and we also looked at where it had come out in prior years. So it is a sort of a best estimate.
Okay,
All the directors pretty much, when they go through, when they prepare their submission for this year, generally take a look, and there have been a couple adjustments along the way where there might be something in a given expense line that's lumpy that hasn't happened yet this year, but it happens in the second half of the year that I wouldn't know about, so we've tweaked it a little bit, so.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows, that's how the projection was developed. It's not gonna be perfect, but we do the best we can with what we have when we pull it together.
okay. Well, my recommendation is to leave the 1,300 in. In the event, you never know what's gonna happen for variances and certificate of locations that we give to, and appeals, if somebody wants to appeal my decision. I believe that's only happened once in the 6.5 years I've been here.
When it's an appeal, Cindy,
What, an
when
appeal,
it's an appeal, do you still have to do the notice?
Yes,
The
we
legal
do.
notice
Yes.
of the appeal.
yes.
And if they lose the appeal, they don't pay for that?
Um,
Not in their fees at all? Just out of
if
curiosity.
the person who was appealing my decision, if
Right.
they lose,
Right.
what was the question?
Well, they're appealing a decision that very likely will still stand. They don't pay a certain amount to cover the cost of the legal notice, just out of.
Well,
curiosity.
when they appeal, they have to pay the $350
okay.
application fee.
Okay, and
Oh,
that'll be on the.
yeah.
pro-
On the income end
side.
of it,
Okay.
yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, any questions? Rob, you have any questions? Okay,
All right, thanks.
all right,
Cindy. All right, let's keep things rolling.
Jamie.
Agenda item H, Fire Marshal, James Sinay.
Well, Bill told me I couldn't have a long presentation last year.
You got your truck. You're done. I'm just kidding.
Trying to make it better every year.
At least you did something right.
So just by starting, this year was probably an unusual year for us for fire activity in Thompson. We had a lot of serious fires in this town, fatal fires, arson fires. So that kept us extremely busy this year, activity wise. So it, even with, the drought that we had was terrible for us. We were getting calls. Every day we were getting multiple calls for people with campfires. I mean, it became terrible with the amount of people, calling, us. So we're very busy with that. We had some changes with, our office, with our secretary who was doing all our scheduling, so we had to shift things there and kind of reformulate our whole process of inspections. So we had a delay with that, which turned into a backlog a little bit. And then we also had an issue with liquor licenses. The state of Connecticut decided to not require our signature anymore on liquor licenses, but required that the inspection still be done. But everybody with a liquor license was not calling for inspections. So we had to go and hunt all these people down to get their inspections after they were lapsed on their inspections. So that's what we've been doing the last few weeks, is trying to hunt all these people down to get their inspections that they failed to do. And contacting the liquor commission and such. And we've been actively involved with, actually heavily involved with zoning and planning and wetlands. The past 6 months, I think there's been a lot of stuff that have been intermingling that been crazy. I've been in the town hall more, I think, than I'm at my full-time job. So, and I just want to go over the fire marshal vehicle. We finally got the vehicle. We had a lot of people in town that helped us out, because we budgeted 12,000 total for it. We were able to get like lettering. We had Dave Labs in town who gave us a huge discount on doing the lettering. We had Tom Miller in town who gave us a discount on auto starters. We have this week alone, because we had to get all new lights for it, modernize it, backup cameras and stuff. And this week alone, one of my friends, Justin Young, he's probably put about 40 hours into rewiring the whole lighting system. And he just sent me pictures, actually. It's still at his house. He just finished all the back lights on it. But he has about 40 hours this week. I have about 25 that we've been in his garage, gutting the whole thing out, like literally taking everything out of the seats, carpets, everything to rewire this whole vehicle. So, I mean, he's just charging the materials. So, I mean, that's thousands of dollars of labor that, that we're getting for free from him. So, the town people have been very, very good with getting this truck up and running and saved us a ton of
That's
money.
awesome.
So I can't stress that enough, the people in town that have helped out with this project. So the budget itself, I kept it simple. I really didn't have any increases other than the 4% for the salaries. On that end, the only increase on the whole budget is $100 on the phone, which Paula told me to put the $100 increase on the phone. I did shift some things around, so on travel, we went from $1,800 down to $500, but I took that $1,300 difference and I added a line item per recommendation to, I think, the Board of Finance last year wanted to put a maintenance for the vehicle. So I took money out of one, added to another, so it didn't increase our budget at all. It just shifted funds. And pretty much everything else pretty much stayed the same. I know John had talked about manuals and subscriptions. We have that in ours as well. We have an online program. I talked to Bill today. We have a lot of our stuff is technology based, especially for fire investigations, where we have to have internet access out in the field for a lot of our programs and programs our dispatch center used. And even the warrant system is now online. So that money is going towards our subscriptions, but also towards a hotspot for the vehicle. So, so there's no increase, but it's gonna allow the vehicle to have that capability to have the internet access out in the field. Because previously I was using my phone as a hotspot. And obviously we know through legal matters, if something happens with a case, my personal phone becomes property of the court system. So I don't want that to happen. But other than that, I mean, there's no real increase in our budget.
Where did you say the hotspot was coming out of?
It's gonna come out of manuals and subscriptions,
Oh, okay. Got it.
because it's gonna be for our technology and
that,
for us to
right.
use the online program that John talked about, same
Right.
thing, because We use all our NFPA and IFC and IBC books, so that has the ability to use it out in the field.
Okay.
So
Where,
if, what's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't
Oh.
mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Where's the maintenance line for
The maintenance line, it says, fire marshal
21.
equipment maintenance. 21, yeah.
Oh, equipment maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So we can probably
Yep.
So it
change
shifted
it
from
to
10 to.
vehicle maintenance, maybe?
Love to.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Get
I
confusing.
just,
Yeah.
it didn't jump off the page
Yeah.
at me, sorry.
Questions for Jamie?
Your political affiliations? I'm just looking, actual was 90 and 23, 24 was 25.
What line?
Is that line 9, Ken?
Bro,
Yeah.
professional field.
It's projected at 200, you're doubling it at 4, I'm just asking.
Did you
Yeah.
say political or
Yeah,
professional?
said
You say
political.
political, no, you said political. I was like, wow, let's get that answer.
Slip of the tongue.
Wonder what you were asking about.
I think it stays. Last year approved was 435 and,
Well,
No, you're spending 200 this year, you're gonna double
yeah.
it.
And
I
a
think
lot of
here's the
stuff.
question, Ken.
Well, a lot of stuff, like I just got my subscription in, for the NFPA link and the Connecticut Chapter International Association of Fire Arson Investigators just came in, for that payment, so, and a lot of them, the projections, I'm a firm believer, especially when it comes to equipment, we have a lot of equipment that could break, cameras, a lot of stuff, so I don't buy new equipment that we need until closer to the end of the budget year, because in case we need that money for equipment that breaks. So I'm always more conservative with spending money. I don't like to spend the money until I know that we're safe to buy that equipment that we need.
I hear you, but I'm sure Ken's gonna bring this up, which is 2 years ago, you spent 90, last year you spent 25. This year, maybe 200, 400 next year.
Yeah, that's what I was bringing up.
Exactly
Just-
right.
That's a
Just to
good point.
ask if
Right.
the affiliations had
Exactly.
gone up.
Yeah,
Exactly, yes.
That was the question.
No, it was
well,
political.
I can see what you're saying now. So I don't know how 24 was 25, because the IAAI and the Wyndham County Fire Marshal, so. And the,
Again, it's not big numbers, but it's.
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking why is this?
But no, I mean,
Same question I had.
I mean, honestly, if you want to cut it back 100 and offset the $100 that was the increase for the phone, it would keep the budget the same as it was, with the exception of payroll, as last year.
We're looking for a snippet of place to cut, Jamie.
It's fine, we're just trying to understand why.
That's a good point, though, because I was,
You're spending a lot more money than you spent in the past.
The 400, so maybe in the notes section, we can add what those affiliations are.
Yeah.
So that we have a total,
Yeah.
because I was
and
just
if they
saying,
add
Bill,
up,
maybe it got
maybe
hooked
then
to
that's
something,
what it is.
a
Yeah.
different line
Yeah.
accidentally.
Yeah,
So,
I'll write them down.
I would rather see if it's averaging 200 that were there.
Yeah,
at
we'll keep it at
200,
that, yeah.
and then if you need to replace equipment and stuff, then you move that money and just shift it further down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, the rest of the board of finance, we're just gonna ask these same questions.
Exactly. No, that's fine. If we've been averaging that, I'll write
Yeah.
down the affiliations that we are involved in, and we'll get a hardcore number. And it might drop it down.
And, maybe it was assigned in some other category.
Right, because
Right,
you,
yeah.
because you're holding off replacing something that you do need.
Yeah.
And are they all yearly? Or are some of them every
Yeah,
3
that's-
years or
that's-
5
They're all
years?
yearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say, oh, we haven't done them in 2 years, and then next thing you know, it's every 3 year,
Yeah.
renewal.
Well, that's the problem with our code
With
cycle
some-
book,
yeah.
because, the code cycles, when they decide to release the code books, it's like, bam, here it is,
Yep.
Because when the budget's reviewed in the end, they're gonna look for, well, you spent X number here,
Yeah.
you got it here. It's only a couple bucks, but if you're shorting yourself figuring you're gonna shift some money in your budget, it may not be there.
No, I agree.
questions for Jamie? Rob? No, okay,
The only
No,
other
none.
thing-
okay.
No,
Was-
none here. None here. Nice job, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. On the fire department budget side, there's just 2 line items that affect, one is the special contributions, which is line 18, that is the software that the fire department use for their reporting. That I deal with the vendor.
I don't
And
think you guys have this.
I don't think.
Oh,
you don't have that sheet?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, just as reference, last year, because we switched over, the numbers went from 74.65 and then down to let's see, 68.31. Well, I got a quote the other day for this coming year for 64.30, so there was a drop of $400. Pretty much in that line, so for the
That
software.
was the special, what is it,
Special contributions.
Special contributions, and you should have it in the notes that that's.
Yeah,
the
it's a,
Reporting software, that's the
Yeah.
reporting software.
yeah,
right?
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it's a $401 decrease. And the only other line would be the burn officer, which is number 22. I kept which is Dino does all the burn permits. The mileage stayed the same and the increase was just the 4%, which was $21.
So we'll make note for when we get to the full fire department budget. Thank you for pointing that out though, Jamie.
Oh,
Any other questions for Jamie?
Nice job,
Thank you.
Jamie.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do.
It
All
better be
right.
front and center of the parade,
What's that?
the new truck.
Next on the
Front and center of
agenda,
the parade.
East Thompson Fire Department, and I know I thought I saw Ron, Chief Ron, and I think I saw Assistant Chief Crystal.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Ron, we never saw sheets from you though. Do you have those? It's something you want to share your screen with?
I don't have them on my screen. I emailed them to you. You did not get them?
I never got them. When did you email them?
This morning.
Oh, this morning?
Yes.
Ah, okay. I'm gonna forward them to you. Can you-
Sure.
Are these, is this I then? I thought it was a J at the end. Or is it I?
This is,
It's all I?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was a J.
we didn't have the sheets
Oh, okay,
until,
The one you have
Well,
is
I-
Jay,
so
now he's coming up on the
until
screen.
now.
all right.
For some reason, Ron, it didn't come over to me until 2 o'clock this afternoon and somehow I missed it. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
sorry. I was late getting them off. I was tied up at work.
Oh,
for a while.
understandable. Oh, I guess you gotta stop the.
Stop it and
Yep.
then redo it.
Yep. You got,
That's it.
gotcha.
So just going over this year's, we had estimated the building income at 64. Depending on how the years go, the races and stuff like that. It's kind of where we've been the last few years, so we're kind of staying with the same number. Donations, 1,000, fundraising, 3,000. For town support, we had submitted for 90,000. We had submitted for 80 last year. So we had gone to 90. The Whiting Estate, which we get every year based on how they make out, is $2,500. And other donations we get from people are around 200. Wages that we have to pay out are 33.5. Payroll taxes are around 7,000. Employment expenses were 6. County fees are 3. Telecommunications, charter, and a few other things are estimated at 1,500. 8,000 I submitted this year because we need to start purchasing portables, and each portable is $4,000 now. most of the other towns around us have gone digital. They've gone to the Connecticut Land Mobile. So we're in the process of getting that going. So each portable now is $4,000. The days of couple $100 portables are long gone. Let's see, electricity, based it around 5,000. Gas and oil for the station is around 5,000. Sewer, we have to have pumped out yearly, 400. Computer expenses, there's a couple of UPSs that power our monitors for our on-call. Those have to be replaced this year. They've failed. $9,000 for gear. Last year we had to buy 5 sets of gear for 23,900. We had a few people in Fire One. We had a few sets that were expiring. So this year, right now, as of right now, I believe we only have one in Fire One, so one set and then that person, so 9,000. Parts for tools, equipment, blades, 3,000. Tools, hand tools, cutters, 3,000, and repair parts, chains, blades, stuff like that. We don't do rentals. IAR and pagers, we need some batteries and a few new pages. That's 1,000. Roof, for parts and repairs, we need to do another section of the roof this year. We did a couple of sections. The guys here did it. There's a couple sections that we can't do. We don't have the equipment to do some of the rubber roofing. So we're looking to have that done. We're also looking to do something towards the parking lot. The age and the plows have pretty much torn it up. Every time somebody walks through, they're now picking up sections of tar. So we really need to start doing something towards the parking lot. Vehicle expenses, 9,000. Last year we spent 23. We lost a turbo in one of our trucks. We had to replace one of the small pumps on our service truck that we rely on for forestry. Last year was a heavy forestry year, so we had to make sure that that was up and running. This year we need tires on some vehicles. The Polaris needs tires. That's why we're estimating at 9,000. Fuel's around 3. Let's see, education and training. We put in for 8,000. I've got quite a few people that their EMT, EMR is expiring. Fire One, and I've got 2, I believe that right now we're planning to do Fire 2. That's why we had to go up on that. Let's see, professional dues, NFPA, Fire Chiefs Association, Volunteer Fire Association comes out of that. Next one, 2,000 for the uniforms. I have a couple people that need shirts and some pants. Medical expenses, 3,000. We had to add some extra oxygen, some other supplies to the trucks, going on calls. We've been there before the ambulance, and then the ambulance hasn't been stocked on several things, so we've upgraded our medical bags to make sure that we can cover whatever we're running into with our patients. Volunteer expenses, we're estimating at about 4,000. Bank charges, usually the same. Debt service, 20,000. We still have a loan on the engine and the air packs. We're estimating the loan payoff is 5.5 years left. So that's ended up total 150. Any questions?
Chief, when you talk about firefighter one, just so that I'm clear, you mentioned it a few times, that means that's a new interior firefighter potentially, that's why you need new gear for that person, correct?
Correct. We had a couple of young people that are coming up and then new people, yeah. Fire one, and then the next step after they do that, then they go on to firefighter two. It's the next step in training.
And again, how long does the gear, the turnout gear last? That's what you're talking about, right? All the-
Yeah, the turnout gear is 10 years and then they can no longer use it for in fire use. It's only for exterior firefighters.
Questions for the chief?
Yeah, Bill, could you scroll back up for a minute to the income
Yep.
side?
Income?
Yeah. Just curious on the fundraising line, it looks like we're making 3,000, but it's costing us 4,000. Am I seeing something wrong there?
I estimate, yeah, well, yes. Last year we do 2 chicken barbecues and the clam cakes and chowder. The first barbecue, we lost money. The clam cakes and chowder cost us $2,300 in supplies, and I think we made $50 profit.
I think you're gonna go up in your prices.
The days of chicken barbecues and people coming and are getting fewer and fewer. It's coming very close to not having them anymore. I know we have a lot of dedicated followers that are coming. But at the present point, we're seriously considering discontinuing it. A couple years ago, we did well. And then the last few years, it rained for one of them and we don't make any money. It's 2 days of people working and very little profit. So multiple discussions are being had here, whether we continue or not.
Other questions?
Ron, one question, I may not have heard it correctly, was on the medical expenses. Something
Yes.
about you added more equipment because the ambulance didn't have it? I may have heard that wrong, just.
I heard that.
No, that's very correct. And that is, you guys will be receiving a letter from me within the next few days. I'd rather not do that over the air, but we had to add supplies to our medical bags that were lacking on the ambulance at medical calls. They showed up to several calls, not stocked, not prepared, which caused issues.
Under those circumstances, and I'm going back a few decades. Going back, we used to get our oxygen from Dave Kimball, we swap them a bottle. If we
Not
had-
anymore.
No, I know that. I'm just referencing how that replacement, when we use something. If you had to use something of your own that, ambulance was all multiple calls, they couldn't restock because of running a bad day. And, that could have been the circumstance, I don't know, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. You would think that the ambulance service would replace that equipment that you had to use that they normally would use. I'm just throwing that out to you so you can think about that.
Yeah, no, well, the ambulance does not do that anymore. The problem is the ambulance, when they use it, can bill it under the insurance. We cannot. So anything that we use, we have to purchase.
No, I get that, but the ambulance, if they would have normally had it, they'd be billing for it. So when they get back to the barn, they should be able to take that, replenish yours because it was used on the
They
patient.
can't bill it if they didn't use it.
But sounds like they really are using it, just replenishing it with the fire
Yeah.
department.
Chief, this is,
Yeah, no, we've used it, but we've also had to add several other pieces of equipment and medical supplies so
That
that
stuff-
we have them when we're there.
Yeah, that stuff is understandable.
So I don't want to be confused. The ambulatory service that we pay into, that is being added into the budget to cover things that they don't have on top of what we pay already.
Well, that would be the question, and I would hope that we have our monthly meetings with the ambulance service, that would be discussed.
yeah, I've been trying to speak Chief, we did not hear this from you. We did hear it from another source as a board, and Rob Wurge sits on the board, the Putnam EMS board, with James Sinay and Logan Taylor. And we did address this strongly as a board. I'm not a board member ex officio, but I do attend all the meetings. But we had heard that from another source. So, we are working to make sure that never happens again. But it's not really about the budget. So we'll,
Okay, but
we'll get back to the
can't,
budget now.
as a fire chief, I can't take that
Oh,
chance.
right. No,
I have to have my bags overstocked in case, because I can't take that chance again.
right.
If every department is doing that, then that adds quite a bit to their budgets and,
Any other questions for Chief Horner?
I just want to bring, can you go down on the? I want to make sure that I'm transparent here on the capital,
Oh, gosh.
the capital. I just want to bring something to the finance and the selectmen. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. So I just want you to understand it coming up very, very shortly, and I'm not the only department in this. So our tanker, in 2028 will be 30 years old. We're doing everything we can to keep it up and running, but in another couple years, to replace that right now is $850,000 on a 3-year wait. My engine is 2 years behind that for $1 million. I can't, it'll be 20 years old. I can no longer run that as my first piece out the door. And that's gonna be over $1 million with a 3-year wait if I order it. So I just want you guys to understand that I'm not the only one in this predicament, that our fleet is aging very, very fast. And with no extra funding or no capital being put away, in a couple of years, we're facing that we'll be coming to the town looking for large sums of money. And I'm not the only one in the boat, communities ahead of me. So I just want to make sure that that's out and people know that that could be coming down the road.
Chief, I can't agree with you more. Thank you for pointing that out. We have obviously been in discussion about a fire district, a protection district, to set goals, financial goals. Where you're integrated and you're working towards these goals and yeah, I mean, I'm the first one that wants to see you funded, so. Thank you for sharing that information.
Thank you.
Questions for Chief Horner? All right.
but
Bill,
I
will
would-
you,
Oh, just wanted to say thank you to East Thompson, that's my fire department, and all that you do and all your volunteers. I think you guys do a great job, and I hope that we can continue to help fund you and do everything that we can to get you more equipment.
Thank you.
can you send that out?
Can I ask
Was
what
just gonna ask, I'm gonna
capital
call you about
it.
numbers
Yeah,
in
go
those, like engine 185, what's the $15,000 in year 2? Is that paying off a loan or?
That pays off the loan, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the part of the 20 that's referenced on the sheet?
Thanks, Chief.
On the other sheet?
Ask the question.
Is that part of that 20 that's referenced on the income and expense tab? Or is that okay,
Yeah, for the debt service, yes.
so those are the same. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Good.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thompson Fire Engine Company, AKA Thompson Hill. Chief Brower.
Or Matt,
Good evening.
how are you?
Good, how are you? Just want to start out as Fire Marshal Sinay had said, we've had a very busy year this year. For most of you know that we as a department had
307 calls this year, 31 fires, 9 structure fires that we attended. With that, we amassed 850 man hours last year for emergency services, not including training. That's just call. It was, as Fire Marshal Sinay said, a very busy year. And you know, to expound on what Chief Fournier was talking about, I was just running some numbers since 1990 to today. Our department has received $1.2 million from the town. That's 35 years to gain $1.2 million. There are now departments in our area that the budget is $1.2 million. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands where we are as a fire department and what we provide to this town with what we get. That is I think unheard of in the area of what we are actually doing. We work well together. East Thompson and Thompson Hill during the day, we're all dual response to make sure that we can provide for our townspeople. We want to make sure that we can do everything we can do possible to make sure that our town is safe. Having said that, we can get into the budget. I did find, unfortunately, I just did find an error in the income. Under miscellaneous town support, we're at $6,000. That should have been 16.
So did that bump that 110 to 120?
120, right, yeah. So going line by line, we do not have billing income as a fire department. Donations, we do about 2 boot drives a year that we try to maintain, and just general donations. So we do very well on donations. Fundraising, we held a chicken barbecue and some other small fundraisers, gaining us about $4,000. We're asking for 90,000, along with East Thompson. As I stated, we have $16,000 estimated from the town and other expenses. And the majority of that is for the ambulance reimbursement. Other income is $3,000 that, as Chief Fournier pointed out, the Whiting Trust, all the departments get a check each year from the Whiting Trust. Most in my department don't even understand where that comes from anymore, because we've been getting it since I've been in the department, but we get a check every year. But must have been something good. So that brings us up to a total of $120,000 in income. As we go through our expenses, no wages, no payroll taxes, no employment expenses. Accounting fees $375 standard that we pay. Previous year, it got lumped into another expense, so I don't have that broken out, but it's a standard accounting fee that we have to pay every year. Telecommunications, that is between pagers, that type of thing. Also is our paging software that we use. And moving on to other communications, we have $8,000 in this year for radios, as Chief Fournier talked about. Radios are not cheap anymore. We're slated to pick up 3 new radios this year, and then have additional in case we go to what Chief Fournier was talking about, the state system.
postage, just incidentals. Those are, he sent out thank yous for all of our donations. Utilities, as we're estimating 32, based on past history on our electric. That all depends mostly on the weather. We heat 3 different ways. We heat with propane, we heat with oil, and we heat with a mini split system for the ambulance. So depending on, and each bay is different source of heat. If the ambulance goes out a lot, that makes our oil fired boiler go off more often. So it all kind of comes out in the end, but it's all kind of weather dependent on how our utilities go. And as we go down, you can see oil estimating around 15,000 and 1,500. Excuse me. Propane 900. Propane has gone up quite a bit this past year, and we don't have a lock-in rate with those. Luckily, we own our own tank, so we can shop around for pricing on that one. The garbage and recycling, we get a dumpster once a year for the fundraisers and for station clean out, basically. $185 for a clear area for cleaning our septic. $2,000 this year. We need a new PC. Unfortunately, this year our printer went this year, and I purchased a new printer. It was actually on last year's budget, but when I went to install it, and I hadn't realized that my computer was running Windows 7 and is incompatible with any of the drivers that. So and it was no sense in upgrading a computer that old for the new one. So I have to buy a new computer there and monitor. Then we get into what our big expenses, the gear, turnout gear. We have $15,000 in there for 3 sets of gear this year. We're on a rotation. As you asked, Chief Fournier, gear is good for 10 years, then it has to be retired. And that's whether that gear is used or not. You can put it in the closet and never use it, and 10 years later, it's no good. We started purchasing last year. We purchased 3 sets. One was a replacement, 2 was brand new for a new firefighter, and 1 was a replacement for damaged gear. So we're in line with that, and we're going to be spending that in the future each year to keep ahead of spending a big chunk of money in 1 year. So the plan is for each additional year is 3 sets each year. Some of them, they're not, I don't believe, and maybe Mr. Sine can chime in on that, but I believe NFPA is pushing for 2 sets of gear for every firefighter. So that's going to be a big expense there. You have to have 1 set clean at all times.
It's the new cancer
Right.
policy for the state for firefighter cancer.
Parts is just a general, $1,000. We just have expenses that things break. We have a very old building, old everything basically. So that's what's in there. Last year under tools, it didn't really have a place to go for it. But last year spent $12,000, which was $10,000. That was actually the boat. But we don't have an apparatus line here. But it's just there. $7,500 for parts. I'm sorry, tools. That's flashlights, replacement nozzles. Again, nothing is cheap. Flashlights are, these aren't the flashlights that you just buy at Walmart. They're $200 flashlights when you buy them. repairs. Just a $500 in there for equipment repair, just as a contingency. The building, $2,500, we need to replace a couple doors. They've gotten a lot more use after, now that, the ambulance is there. They were never really commercial doors that were installed in the first place, but we have to replace those. Building supplies, that fluctuates every year. We always buy on, in bulk, basically. So one year it'll be a high price, then we don't, purchase that for another 2 years or so when we're buying, different items for the building. Our biggest expense will be vehicle expense this year, parts and repair. As some of you know, that we lost a pump on our main attack engine last year, actually, at a fire. That took, it is now about 18 weeks this week that pump went. And the pump was ordered at that time. It is actually in the shop right now and hopefully is gonna be back next week. That's a $30,000 bill. The additional 10,000 after that is that our forestry, which is our 1987, and as Fire Marshal Sine said, it was really put under a lot of pressure this year with all of the brush fires we had this year. That needs pump work. So as soon as ET1, which is our primary attack engine, comes back, the forestry is going to go out since it's winter time. That's going to go out for the pump, not a rebuild, but it's going to repair the seals and the gaskets on the outside. Fuel, just standard 2,500. We're in line with what we generally spend. Education and training, Fire One, similar to Chief Fournier. We also have 2 of our officers going through fire officer training this year. Dues, NFPA dues, office supplies, again, kind of the same as building supplies. We'll buy a case of paper 1 year, then it'll last us a while, then we have to replenish it. So that fluctuates up and down. Uniforms, 500, that generally equates to t-shirts for our members. Medical expenses, those in the past were just placed in supplies, basically. This was brought out this year into actual medical supplies. And this is not really a huge increase over what we've purchased before, but generally what we have to come out of that is whether it's epi that expires in 18 months or so. So we have to buy epinephrine, we have to buy Narcan. Luckily, we got a good supply of Narcan this year or last year, so we're not purchasing that anymore, but we have to buy syringes and all that kind of stuff. We actually made a deal with Quinnipiac Fire Company because we have to buy epinephrine syringes in like 100 pack. That's what you have to buy them for, and they expire for some reason. So we made a deal is that we buy them 1 year and they buy them the next, and then we throw most of them out, unfortunately, but we have to have them. So that's a how we try to get around that a little bit. $4,000 for fundraising expenses. We plan on having another chicken barbecue. We actually canceled our fall one, as Chief Fournier was talking about. The chicken prices in the fall went up considerably over what it was in the springtime. And we decided at that point we would not have a fall barbecue. So it's that was the beginning of the avian flu, I believe, is what our distributors are telling us. They tell us that every year, so I'm not sure what. Volunteer expenses, $600. That's generally our annual dinner that we put on for our members, permits, food permits, and that kind of thing. Coming down to our total expenses this year at 99,925, leaving us with an adjusted of 20,075. Difference with our company is we do not hold any notes. We do not have any outstanding loans on any of our equipment or any of our building or anything like that. So the budget that I've created for since I've been chief, we try to put, as the Chief Warner puts in $20,000 for a loan payment, we try to get $20,000 to $30,000 that we can put into CDs so that when we buy our next apparatus, we have that money. After that, then we're kind of out.
What's your next urgent need for
Our-
apparatus?
Our next engine is in 29.
At a estimated cost, that's a
800,000,
million.
no, 800,000, in 29, I don't know what it's going to be.
Right.
Right now, the truck, we did apply for a FEMA FAG, grant. The truck we spec'd for that was just under 700,000. So, and that's not a special truck, that's not equipped, that's a truck. That will fit in our station, so, and,
You applied for a grant, you said?
yeah, for the federal,
Mhm.
assistance to firefighter grant, so we've applied for that, and that's for apparatus. Chances of getting that are pretty slim, but put it out there. So in 2029, and as Chief Warner says, hopefully in 29, things settle out, but when you place an order, it's 2 to 3 years before you actually receive that truck. Right behind that, is we'd love to replace it, is our 1985 forestry. It's a workhorse that everybody uses in town when we have forest fire. And that's part of our, the system that we've kind of put together is that we have the big truck that can get into the woods deep, carries water. The other trucks have the other departments have the smaller Polaris Ranger that can use the water off of our truck. So that's how we work together with that. So everybody doesn't need a big truck. We have that one big truck that does that. That is aging. It's 1985, and it's we purchased that. We are the actual third owner of that truck. It started out in North Attleboro, went to Foxborough, and then went to us. We're doing everything we can to keep our expenses down and just continue to do this. When we get into our capital, this year, we're gonna be spending that $40,000 to replace the pump. Hopefully, we might get reimbursement on that, but we can't count on it. We would like to this year is replace our service truck. We have a 1987 Jeep, 1998 Jeep that was donated to us, which was donated to us to cut up actually at a drill, and we ended up not doing that and kept it and made it into a service truck. Everything as anyone that has a vehicle that's over 5 years old, maintenance becomes ridiculous, and things are always breaking. So that's low on the list, but it'd be very nice to be able to replace that. One of our reasons for using that Jeep, it's a 4-seater. When our station was built, it was never built for the apparatus we have now. We don't have big cabs in our trucks. We only have a 2-seater and a 3-seater. You can't bring everyone to a fire in a 2 and 3-seater. So we use that service truck to fill seats and put people in those seats to get to them to the fire. So that even though it's a service truck, it's an important piece of equipment for our department. Coming after that, it is on the list for our 1997 rescue. We've already had it. We've had the body taken off. All the brake lines, fuel tank strapped, all that springs were done, I think 3 years ago to get more life out of it. And that would be our next wishful thought to purchase, that's not a mandate with our eye on 2029 where we have to purchase the big $700,000-800,000 truck. So having said that, when you get to our money that we do have in the bank, it looks like we're extremely rich, which as fire departments go, we are, but it's because we don't have those loan payments every year that other ones do. We have earmarked, and you could go through all this stuff, everything in CDs earmarked for the apparatus replacement. So we have approximately 4 years before we have to purchase that piece of apparatus. In 4 years, at the rate we're going with the savings, we might be close to being able to purchase one, but we'd have zero in the bank at that point if we did that. And as I just explained, we had a pump, it's $30,000, and that's not negotiable. It's just one of those things that we have to pay, and we have to have the money to have that in the bank. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. Like I said, we have a plan to make sure that we try to put as much as we can into that apparatus fund to make sure that we can replace that. But that does cause us to skimp on things that would be nice to have in our station. We are up on everything we can be on, not on everything, but everything that's safety related. We make sure that everybody has their gear. We have our CBA. We have everything they need for that. There's always one of those things that always comes up is about exhaust systems for the station. Everybody always asks questions about that. Well, unfortunately, that is low on the list, even though it's a true priority. We're not in the station all the time. So that money is unfortunately best spent somewhere else for immediate use. They're probably, I think the last time we checked, and that was probably 10 years ago, it was like $60,000 to put in a system. It's probably 100,000 and maybe cheap. Sorry, you're not Chief Sine in town. Fire Marshal Sine has new numbers on that stuff, but that'd be really nice to have, and it is one of those NFPA type suggestions, I guess, is that we have those, but we can't do all that. So that's where I am with that. We, as Amy had said about the tax district, we have created a budget plan for that. We have all agreed on bylaws on how that would happen as chiefs. We are trying to do that, push that forward. Unfortunately, I am running out of steam doing this, and I don't have any fighting in myself anymore to fight townspeople saying that we want to impart a new tax on town when we're just trying to cover what we're doing. So we're gonna need some help on it.
Chief, can I say I value your thought process, because obviously we know the T word is a bad word here in Thompson and everywhere. But when you talk about $1 million vehicle, we can barely, as a town, pay for a less than $300,000 plow truck. The system needs to change, obviously, and seeing what happened in California. I mean, that's a whole different scenario. That's a whole different level. But we don't want to put ourselves ever in the position where we have a situation and we don't have apparatus
Mhm.
to fight a fire.
And we did, we didn't see the extent what California saw, but what we saw in town last year,
Right.
um,
But,
it
but
is,
if 5 departments need 5 trucks at $1 million, that's just.
Mhm.
So there needs to just be a new plan, a new system, and I think if it's approached that way, I think it'll be embraced.
and we've done all of our research on all of the fire departments and, what the town of Thompson is paying for 5 fire departments and the apparatus that people think we have too much of is what like a East Killingley gets for one department.
Right.
When you get to Dayville, you're over $1 million.
Right.
And, it's, there has to be some realization of that, but I am not ready for that fight where I have to fight with citizens of town to provide this service when I've been doing this for 25 years. And it's, something has to change and, we've set a plan in place. Next is try and get this through the town.
How close are we to attempting to do that?
We can do it soon.
What triggers it is a petition
That's
to go to
right.
town.
No, I
meeting.
know that, but I mean, you were working on bylaws, you were working on the finer details. That's all been pretty much ironed
I
out.
wouldn't say the finer details, but rough finer details. There's our biggest issue and Amy's worked a bit to see if we can get a board together. The way we fashion this board is that fire department members are not on the board. To make sure that people don't think there's a conflict of interest, we want to make sure that they're
Right.
not fire department. So that means we need more citizens to step up. We need a treasurer, which is going to be one of the biggest problems that we're going to have. That's going to be like a full part-time job to be doing this. So you have to get somebody to do that we can pay with a stipend or, I heard you talking about you have a recording secretary. Well, this is going to be supporting 5 fire departments, billing, all this kind of stuff that this person's gonna have to be responsible for. Nobody's gonna volunteer for doing that. But you have to get somebody that will do that. It's gonna be a big commitment from a board of citizens that understand the system. That's quite frankly, our biggest concern is getting people on that board that can do this. It can't be people that come in for 1 year and just kind of, this isn't fun anymore, I want to help. This is, we've done lots of research on, because this then involves tax collection. So that most, I can't say most anymore. It used to be tax districts in all the towns, they had their own tax collector that collected the fire taxes. What I'm finding now is most are actually going towards the town collecting it. They pay them a fee to be administrator of it, which is just shuffling money.
Similar to what we do WPC.
Same kind of thing. But you need a board that's gonna run this. Fire department members as advisors, but you need a board that can truly run this. And between that and then selling it to the townspeople, that's gonna be we feel is gonna be the worst part. And like I said, I don't have that, I really don't have that fight in me to hear people, you guys hear it all the time, and I don't want to hear that. I've done enough.
But I will say,
Yeah.
that the support for the fire departments in this town is huge. And there is I think if people understood that it's coming out of the main budget and being governed by a body of non-biased individuals, I think they would support it.
And with a separate vote every year to vote specifically on fire department budget.
Yes.
Separate from the town referendum.
I really think,
It puts the power to the people.
I think the people that would not support it are a smaller group than we think.
I would hope so.
I really do, Matt, and I feel like that fire, you don't need them till you need them, right? And I feel that people recognize that the importance of having fire protection in this town.
I mean, when it comes through the town budget, it's big lump sum that's $27-28 million between the school and here. And if they're seeing that, yes, it's $3 million, whatever the number is for the departments, they're gonna be more, I would think, more receptive. Because they know what's going there. They have a vote on that budget.
It's going directly to support fire safety, so.
Because you guys are buried into the whole total
Yeah.
package.
And
And
when you're lumped in, oh, did you know this, when you're
Yeah.
lumped into the budget. And we're just begging and wishing for it to pass on the first try, or the second, or the third. It leaves you a target.
So, and that takes you off the target board.
And it's, we'd have to rework this now, because I don't know what's gonna happen with the reevaluation and the mill rate and how that works, but we have a schedule so that we can show you. If you have $100,000 worth of property taxes, it's gonna cost you $140 a year for fire.
Right.
That's not a lot of money, but we have a whole schedule from $5 up to $2 million, what you would pay for that mill rate to get us back up to where we need to be.
I would love to get through this budget season, and we're kind of getting off topic now. Because
I
of
am,
this budget
but,
presentation, but I would love to get through this budget.
I'm
season,
last,
Get
though.
through the, I know, you get all the time.
And it's not
Get
that
through-
late.
Get through the referendum and then come early fall.
That we
But-
need to sell it, get it out there.
It's, and that's, our first presentation to the town was back in like 2018, when we started our plight. We got just enough negative to really turn you off on what people what people are thinking. And again, I leave my house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get home 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I make as many calls as I can in the year. I run the department. I do this. I've done it for 25 years, so it's that fight is gonna be tougher for me to keep up, to fight somebody so I can continue to do this. It's just not, it just doesn't, it's a cycle that I'm not getting too old for now. But anyway, it's we are very close to, there has to be, whether we have what we had slated, and unfortunately we ran into some trouble with scheduling, but we wanted to meet with some potential people on the board. We wanted to then, once we have potential board members, and then have basically an open forum question and answer period, just at the town, where people can come and ask. That is the plan. Kind of hope to have it done by now, but things just don't, we're very busy. So it's tough to get done. But we have all of it. We have 90% of the elements in place to actually present this to the town and get it done. We need to. And that's where we start running into the problems, whether we have to start making up real presentations or, that presentation that I did back in 2018, I think that took me 6 months to create. It was a lot more than what you would just present to somebody, but it's meant for somebody to refer back to, so it has a lot of information in it, but I don't have that time anymore to produce a professional looking presentation to present to the townspeople like that. But so we need help to push this forward. We don't have the time to do it as chiefs. Our members don't have time. We're stretched as it is.
Matt, I'm happy to coordinate and we can talk. I'm happy to coordinate the board members. And throw out some dates. And then work on that question and answer and schedule all of that for you. So happy to support you in any way.
I think there's some tools out there too, that
I can offer that you can pull questions ahead of time, where you'll get all of those in and you can see what they are without the entire public seeing them as well, so that you can almost anticipate what some of those questions are. There's some free services out there that we use from some other stuff. Jamie does a good job of pulling apparently all these people to fix the truck. I think some of us just need to hear the ask, and there's a bunch of people that'll probably step up to help you.
But, you know, I mean, you're gonna hear this from every chief that, it just doesn't work. Like I said, those numbers, when our numbers go back to 1990, we were getting $12,000 a year. So that was supplemented by having our 3 chicken barbecues and clam bakes. And when I joined in 2000, we were getting $25,000 a year. There was no way to, you know, I mean, it's basically a miracle that our department is in the position that it's in right now. But it's not gonna keep going, so. Not at the rate that fire service costs are. So,
The
The
inflation,
regulations, the
inflation,
inflate, yep.
not just on anything that's fire related.
Rob, do you have a question? I just saw you unmuted.
Not really, no, I kind of hear Chief Crower loud and clear. I mean, it's just clearly not sustainable.
Right.
And I can sense the, I don't know if exhaustion's the right word, Chief
It
Crower.
is, that's a very accurate word.
Yeah, I can sense that and I don't know if any of us have all the answers, you know, right here and now, but you know, kind of to Nikki's point, it's got to be a call for, you know, a call for help and even pre-help before the board's established, and just get some energy, get some momentum. This shouldn't fall on your shoulders solely. And I think maybe that's for me, that's a big takeaway here is, you know, where are the minds in town that have the time and energy and passion, right, to try to shift this, because it's been a topic, you know, year over year, it's been a topic, and now it's just kind of coming to a bubbling point. And it's, you know, pretty much remarkable, both Chief Fournier and now you, Chief Crower, like just trying to provide the services that you are with what you have. And I don't think it's because the Board of Finance, or the Board of Selectmen, or anyone else wants to continue to cut it or continue to underfund it. It's just the costs are they're just outpacing, right? What we can do. So that means we just got to do something different. So I guess my message is I hear you loud and clear, and we'll need to get together and try to shift this over time. And if we've got a position and sell it to the people, we'll explain it. And personally, I have a hard time figuring out how people don't want to be safe, right? I mean, I think generally people want to be safe. So I think we'll probably garner more support than we think going in.
And Chief, I apologize. I backed off. Jamie knows how I've been. I've been like, I haven't heard from them because I don't want to step on your toes. You're 5 independent departments. This is a decision that has to come from within, but I still have tons of energy for this. Tons of energy for this. And I'm here to stand by you guys. I really am. So.
And then I guess that's what, you know, in the beginning, I was kind of the ringleader on this, and back, like I said, back in 2018, 2017, when we first were trying to do this. And we need somebody outside the department to, like I said, that we just don't have it in us anymore. Well, I can't say that for everybody, but we don't have the time.
You're putting tons of volunteer hours into what you're doing, so.
So that,
And I'd rather know you're volunteering there than putting a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
so anyway, that's my spiel for the night.
Thank you, Matt.
Any other questions, budget wise?
I just have one quick one on the FEMA grant. How has that funding been going with FEMA? Have they been cutting it, adding to it? I know competition is stiff because everybody needs.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell you.
No.
Unfortunately, every year when we see the disbursements, you know, we see some of the departments that are funded get stuff. And you see the departments that really don't have anything, maybe it is obviously based on population, but whether you have 10,000 people or 1,000,000 people, everybody deserves to have the same amount of safety. And then when you get down to the volunteer level, that somebody is actually doing this on their own time. I think when it first started and I think I wrote my first grant to them back in 2005, maybe, and that's we got our SCBA back then in turnout gear. I think they were weighted a little bit more towards the volunteer and the people that needed them. And also on the other side of that, I think we have more consultants and lobbyists that big departments can hire. We actually, was that last year or 2 years ago? We did that about the radio grant. We did that, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
We hired as a region. I think it would cost like $500 or something like that each. There were like 14 departments that tried doing it. We didn't get that one either, but I think there's I think the competition is much worse. I mean, again, we're writing the grants. You're up against professional grant writers we did our department when we did put in for the FEMA grant. A couple of my members, they worked on it. I gave them information. They worked on it. I reviewed it and I submitted it. And they on their own contacted Senator Courtney directly and had a conference call with him to gain his support, which is supposed to be pretty good, I guess. So he was writing a letter of recommendation along with 7,000 other fire departments. So we continue to write grants, smaller grants. We hope to write at least another one this year for radios with USDA again. We got half of our SCBA paid for 2 years ago with USDA grant, a 50-50 grant. So we're trying to do the best we can with that. Again, it takes time to find those grants. Amy, I did apply for that Lowe's grant.
Oh, did you?
Did.
Good.
Did we get a list of the grants that you've applied for and received?
Nothing.
And I meant to ask Ron that too. Because I'm just curious as to what you applied for, and what you received and what you used it for.
No.
Was there many this past year?
This past year, no, there was a technical glitch when we went to do the AFG grant at the end. And we didn't get the grant in on time. So we didn't apply for that one. We do apply for smaller ones, which they're not really grants, but like even just Harbor Freight, they give out gift cards, $250. So we do that every year. There's a couple, another one that we plan on doing it's Dennis Leary's grant. I don't know what they call that one. Is it Dennis Leary's?
Dennis Leary Foundation.
Yeah, foundation. We're gonna try for that one. Again, they're all competitive and everybody's doing it. So it's a tough thing. And there's no central repository of here we go for all my grants and find them. It's you have to go find them. Again, time and effort.
Right,
but
and grant writing is an art.
it is, it's
It's almost a full-time job.
It is some places,
Yeah.
but it's an art, like writing effective grants is not easy.
Mhm. That's when we got that 50-50, it was a $50,000 grant through USDA. And it was kind of my tenacity with our local persons calling them constantly. What do I do here? What do I do here?
Right.
And it was a gamble between annoying the crap out of her or getting her to like me to help. So it was one of those things, but it worked out in the end. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and you have the statistics you have to gather, and some of them it's very difficult to get because we don't track that kind of stuff. But anyway, we are trying. We are doing everything we can to number one, make us successful and hopefully keep going in the future as far as we can, it's inevitable that one day Thompson's gonna have a paid crew. It's people aren't volunteering like they used to. It's just not there. That the tax district will be the first step eventually into how that's gonna have to be run. But it's just like we had to go with the ambulance, had to go 24/7 and paid, that was all volunteer at one time. And, but anyway, we do need to change. Before it's too late.
Any other questions for?
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything that
Thank
you
you,
do.
appreciate
too.
it for
Thank you.
listening to my,
Thank you for the service you provide to this town, all your volunteers.
thank you.
The kids want a fundraiser. Any other budget?
There are no other budgets.
And our next meeting is.
Money that.
Next meeting is February 11th, 6 p.m. That's what I heard.
Why did I think it was the 18th?
The 18th is after that, and then the 20th.
Well, it is after that, but but the 11th, I missed that one.
And all of
February
it.
11th,
All of
6
it.
p.m.
Yeah.
Can I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
And is there a second? All in favor of adjourning this meeting at 8:35 p.m., say aye.
I.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody want to say anything?
Yes.
I would love to.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Safe travels.
From the school.
Oh,
The meeting.
thank you. Much appreciated.